Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am so excited about this video because I am finally putting a couple of products that I've been really curious about to the test. So we're going to be talking about the Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse Foundation, which is what I have on my face right now. And it looks pretty damn flawless, so I am excited about this, as well as the Huddah Cosmetics Eyeshadow and Liquid Lipstick. So we are going to be conducting a wear test on these products to see how well they perform on my skin and how long they actually last. So if you want to see how these products perform, then keep watching. So this is the packaging, and I do have it in the shade 76 Hazelnut. It does originally come with a sort of swirled moussey design, so that's pretty cool. I'm just going to go in with my finger and pick up the cream. Let me just swatch this for you so you can see the actual color. And as you can see, this color looks a bit aggressively orange for my very yellow undertones, but it actually does match me pretty well. So I am just going to go in with product on half of my face just to show you the kind of coverage you can get with just a few swipes. I'm not going in with too much product, and then we'll go from there. So a few things that I've already noticed is that, first of all, it is very easy to blend. As you can see, it just melts into my skin really easily, so I'm not struggling and like tugging it into place. It does sit on the skin really well, and I know the color looks a bit crazy right now, but it actually does sort of calm down and like melt into my skin tone. So we're just gonna give it a few minutes for that. But I do feel like I need a bit more coverage on this half of my face, and because it's not a liquid, I can't really say how much product I'm actually using. So you are just going to have to eyeball this and kind of go with whatever works for you. So as you can see, it's actually layering on really well, and it takes absolutely no time to blend. So I'm pretty impressed with this foundation. So even with 2 layers, you still can't really tell that I'm wearing foundation, which is pretty damn cool. So I'm just gonna get this other side of my face evened out, and then we'll see where we are. So something that I am noticing with this foundation is that if I do swipe my finger across my face right now, it will swipe right off. So you have to be careful not to touch your face. I will see if that's any different after it's set and like dried on my face, but as of right now, if I touch my face, it will just swipe right off. Secondly, the color does seem to sort of be calming down, but I feel like we still have a ways to go. So we will revisit that in my first check-in, but so far so good. The only real issue that I'm seeing is that it doesn't seem to have much coverage right underneath my eyes, and I don't want to keep building on foundation. So I think I will go in with concealer, and then I will set half of my face. I actually meant to prime half of my face, but then I completely forgot. And I have the Maybelline Baby Skin Pore Erasing Primer, and I really like this, so I'm kind of sad that I forgot to use it. But that means that I have no primer whatsoever on my face, but I will be powdering down half of my face just to see how well this foundation performs with a little bit of help. I love that it's already set into like a soft satin matte finish. Like, it is pretty matte, but I can still feel like my face is alive. It doesn't feel like any moisture is being sucked out of it or anything like that. So this is what my face looks like right at the beginning of my check-in. It is now 11:42 a.m. and as you can see, the side that is set with powder does look significantly more matte than the side that's not, and I do prefer this like alive glowy look that I'm getting on this side. So I kind of prefer it without setting with powder, but we will see if the powder actually extends the wear of the foundation. The other thing that I really wanted to review in this video is the Huddah Cosmetics product. So I'm just going to pop on the lipstick right now, so the check-in time is the same as the check-in time for the foundation, and then when I come back in for my first check-in, we'll do an eyeshadow look and sort of spruce up my face. So it is 3:14 p.m., which means it's been about 3.5 hours almost that I've had all of this on my face. So I'm just going to take off my spectacles so you can see the mess that is my nose. Yeah, as you can see, it does not hold up well on my nose area whatsoever, so that's kind of really disappointing because this is really messy, and this is both on the powdered side and on the unpowdered side. And one thing that I have noticed, though, okay, let's talk about the foundation first. One thing that I have noticed is that on the smile lines over here and around my lip area over here, it has significantly faded compared to the side without powder. So for some reason, this foundation isn't really working better with powder. If anything, it's doing worse in those specific areas, so that's a bit shocking. Other than that, the foundation itself looks really good. I feel like I can kind of see it sitting on top of my skin, but beyond that, it does seem to look pretty good. And other than the area in my direct T-zone, it doesn't really seem to be getting greasy. Like, if you look at the back of my cheeks over here, around my face, it does seem to be remaining pretty matte. So that's a good thing for a matte foundation. But the smile line thing has kind of completely thrown me off. And the fact that I'm looking greasy right around my nose area when in reality, those are the driest parts of my face. That's kind of strange to me, so I think I will just blot one side just so you can see the difference. But before I do, let's talk about the lipstick. As you can see, it looks pretty damn good. Like, it doesn't look perfect, and there is this little smile line right down here, which I have gotten because I've been eating and drinking and whatever, so even the fading that you're seeing is because I have been eating. But for 3 hours, it is holding up pretty damn well. So my only issue is that I never really know how to fix this line without like smudging the foundation, and I don't really want to pat it back into place because I don't want to affect the way the foundation is wearing. So it's kind of a catch-22 for me. I don't really know what to do about that. So as you can see, the blotting has actually made a pretty significant difference. The side of my face looks a lot more matte than the side that I haven't blotted. There is also a little bit of transfer onto the tissue, so this is definitely a foundation that transfers even when you've powdered it. The great thing about this foundation is how buildable it is, so if you don't mind carrying it in your purse and like touching up any areas that sort of smudge around or move around, then this is a good foundation to have, because as you can see, I have built it up and you can't really tell that I've touched up my face whatsoever, so that's pretty impressive. But now we can finally move on to the Huddah Beauty eyeshadows. This is the box that they come in. The actual eyeshadow palette is the exact same design as a box with the exact same words at the back. A few people have noticed typos and like errors and whatever. The only issue that I have is that it does say that it has matte shades, whereas on the inside it actually doesn't have any matte shades. So there's that. It does come with a pretty nice mirror. As you can see, it is very fingerprinted and like smudged because I use this palette all the time. But these are the colors, and I love that it flips over completely. It does come with this one-sided brush and 9 eyeshadow colors. So I'm just going to swatch these from top row to bottom row, and then we'll go from there. One thing that I will say is that they are super pigmented. This is what's left on my fingers after swatching it on my hand, and you can see that the pigmentation is just fantastic on that very first row. Someone did note in her review that the pigmentation gets less the lower you go in the palette, which is absolutely true, but for the absolute top most pigmented row, it's pretty damn good. And I do feel like a lot of them are kind of similar, so I do wish there was a bit more diversity, like maybe a blue or a purple added in, because these two look pretty similar to me, these two look pretty similar to me, so I don't really see the point of it. These two are basically the same thing, but like different shades of the same thing, which I fully appreciate as a makeup person. I would definitely want matte shades. Like, I need a good rich matte brown in this, and then like a really good transition color, like maybe an orange or something, because I feel like if this was the only eyeshadow palette I could afford, like I could live with, like in my entire collection, it would not be enough. I will walk you through the look that I do for this particular video, just so you can see step by step what I have to do to achieve like a fully beat look, and I have no idea what I'm going for yet, so that's kind of nerve-wracking, but let's do this. To use this palette, I do have to dip into a different eyeshadow palette. So this is my Nubian 2 by Juvia's, my absolute favorite all-time palette of like life. You know, I love Juvia's palettes, and so I am going to be playing around with these 3 colors as my these 4 colors actually as my transition shades. So let's jump into it. So starting with a fluffy brush, I am going to go into Madagascar and just blow this out across my crease. Next, I'm going to go into my orange, because this is basically my safety net color. I love using this in my crease because I feel like it just warms up any eyeshadow look and like really gives me direction on where I'm going. And for that, I do like to use a Huddah eyeshadow brush because I actually really like this for my crease. I feel like it's a perfect shape to just fit right in there and like tuck color right where I want it. And I actually really like this brush, shockingly, because do you see how precisely it just lays down the color, like right into my crease and just above it and just below it. So I actually really do like it, but I don't find it very usable for any of the colors in the actual eyeshadow palette. So I feel like she should have included like a flat brush or something, just something for shimmers, you know. I'm going to dip into this brown, which is Kenya, and I'm going to use this in my outer corners just to add a bit of depth and dimension to the look, and I'm just dragging this ever so slightly into my crease. I am going to dip into my least used color in this palette, which is this super shocking pink right here, and I am just going to go in with a dry brush to begin with and just show you the kind of pigmentation you get, and then I'm going to wet my brush and really build that up. And as you can see, the pigmentation is pretty damn good. These colors are really soft. They do remind me of the ColourPop formula, but yeah, I'm just going to build this up dry, and then I'll show you on this other eye what it looks like wet, and then we'll go from there. So this is how it goes on when the brush is wet, and honestly I'm not really seeing much of a difference because the pigmentation was banging to begin with. So I am just going to even these out, and then we'll move on to the next color. So now, using the Huddah palette and the Huddah brush, I'm going to attempt to do something I haven't done before. I'm going to dip into this color, and now that I'm using it, I can kind of see why everyone is like so up in arms about it not having names, because me just telling you this color isn't really effective. But because it's so sheer, I am going to attempt to use this in my crease, and then we'll see how that works. As you can see, and I am swirling the brush in quite a bit, but the pigmentation on the eyes is just not the same as it was in the swatches for these lower line colors, so that's something to note of. But it really does work for this darkest color, because the first time I dipped into it, because I thought it wasn't going to be that pigmented, I kind of went ham, and because it wasn't so pigmented, it sort of held me back and allowed me to build it up really well in my outer corner as like a smoky eye. So I do love that it has very little pigmentation, but it can easily be built up, so you don't really get raccoon eyes as soon as you dip into it, which is pretty good. So I'm actually not mad about having that color in my crease, because it kind of looks like a halo over the pink, but I did have to touch up the pink just a little bit. So now I think using the same Huddah brush, I am just going to sort of dust that off and then go into the darkest color and sort of darken out my outer corner. And as you can see, it's barely depositing any color, but that does allow you to build it up, so I'm really not complaining. Now using the fluffy brush, I am just going to attempt to blend these all in. Make sure they're not too harsh. And then using a pencil brush, I'm going to go in for my final color, and I really wanted to use this electric yellow color, but I feel like I always go for yellow in my looks, so now I'm going to use it as an inner corner highlight because I'm feeling colorful today, you know? As you can see, this color seems to have quite a bit of fallout, or maybe I just picked up too much with the brush. So that's something that you need to be wary of. So now that I've gone way too ham with my inner corner highlight, but I do like it to be popping, so I am not complaining. Throw on some lashes, and then we'll come and try to smoke out the lower lash line. So now that I have my lashes on, you can see just how vibrant and pigmented these colors are. And as you can see, even though I did go in with that really dark shade in my outer corner, you can sheer it out so that it just adds like a smoky dimension without your eyes looking too darkened and like too aggressive. So I actually really like it. And now this palette has made me love using yellow in my inner corner, so I'm all about that. But I did want to go in with one more color underneath my lashes, and I think I'm going to use this one because it is the closest one to the one on my lid, and I kind of want to create the whole like, not really halo, but like that whole monochromatic sort of look. I'm going to drag this down the lower lash line and sort of extend the outer V, if that makes any sense. So as you can see, I have used a color to sort of soften the black on my lower lash line and create like a lower lash line wing from it. I hope that makes sense. I'm pretty happy with the way this has turned out, so we're going to go into this color, and I'm going to use it in the way that I have found to work absolutely perfectly for me. Using my current favorite highlighter brush, I am just going to dip into it, and as you can see, it's barely picked up any color because it doesn't really pick up very well on a brush, but that makes it absolutely perfect to go in for the strobe, because you don't really want to go in too heavy-handed at first. You'd rather build it up rather than like try to tone it down, you know? So I am just going to build this up on my cheeks and on my temples, and then we shall call it a day. And as you can see, it does build up to this beautiful, absolutely like glowing from the inside look. Like, I really love using this as a highlighter color. I feel like that's exactly what it was put in here to be. That's exactly what it's perfect for, you know? So this is a side without any strobing going on, and this is a side with the strobing going on. As you can see, my highlight just looks popping without looking overwhelming or like it's too much, because it's so sheer and easy to build up, you know? So I absolutely adore that color for my highlight. And voila! As you can see, that glow just looks radiant, like it's coming from within. It doesn't look sparkly or like this chunks of glitter on my face or whatever. Though in person, it kind of is emphasizing my texture, but on camera, it looks absolutely flawless. So this is camera makeup for sure. And in person, I feel like my face just looks really glowy and alive, and just like you can't really see it sitting on the skin. It just dissolves and melts right in. So I am such a huge fan of this. Like, for this color alone, I would fall in love with this palette, but I actually do really like all the other colors, especially this dark one, because it does just add a bit of mystery to like my outer corner without smoking it out too much. I absolutely love that. So all in all, I 100% recommend this. I got this on discount, so instead of paying $25 for it, I did pay $15 for it. So I highly suggest checking out the page, waiting for a discount, because on a discount, I 1000% recommend this. Without a discount, I would be more tempted to lean towards the Juvia's Place palettes because I can get them at the same price, but I really do like this palette. If you want to get like a good shimmer palette, this is the one for you. Now that my face is fully beat, I am just going to continue the wear test of the foundation and the lipstick, which is looking pretty good. I mean, it does look ever so slightly faded if I look really up close and personal, but from a distance, and I have basically been shooting this part of the video for like an hour, so this is almost over, probably 4 hours in, it still looks pretty damn good, even with eating and drinking and whatever. So I'm going to continue the wear test for this foundation and for these eyeshadows. We're going to see how good they look at the end of the day, and then I guess we'll judge it from there. But so far, from my experience, I have absolutely no complaints. So I'm just going to end this check-in here, take a few pictures, shoot an intro, and then I'll be right back for my next check-in. So it is now 1:03 a.m. So I'm going to make this check-in super quick because this foundation has not held on very well. So I'm not really all that impressed. I am coming back in with my spectacles as usual because I always wear spectacles. And as you can see around my nose area, it has smudged off pretty much a lot, let's say. And you can see on the tip of my nose, it has actually smudged off right here before I even took off the spectacles. So this foundation is striking me as that one which once you touch it, it actually does just disappear. As you can see, it's very, very heavily transferable is what I'm saying. And it has started to look a little bit greasy. Like, it doesn't look bad. In person, I just look glowy. I don't look like a complete grease ball. And considering it has been 13 hours that I've been wearing this foundation, I'm not gonna be mad at that because this never struck me as a long wearing foundation to begin with. The fading around my nose and my mouth area has just become worse as the hours have gone by. It has almost completely faded around my mouth. I don't know if you can notice right here, but it kind of makes me look like I have a mustache because streaks of foundation have faded away. So I don't really know what that's about. Basically, this foundation is not very long wearing. On the side that I powdered and the side that I didn't powder, they look equally faded and like worn, and just I'm ready to take my face off, you know? It looks really heavy on camera, but in person it doesn't feel heavy whatsoever, so that is a plus for the foundation. But the fact that I'm afraid to touch my face is definitely not helping. Even when the hairs decide to tickle me and like I can't do anything about it, it's very annoying. So bottom line, would I recommend this foundation? I feel like if you can get it at a good price, maybe just to have it in your kit because it looks absolutely flawless in pictures. I absolutely love this for selfies. Like, it makes me want to take a million pictures of myself because even in the monitor, I can see that I just look airbrushed. Even though there are problems with the foundation itself, the overall look is very airbrushed. So I mean, if you are looking to take a selfie, yes, but then you have to take it right off because this isn't something I would advise you to like go about your day with, you know? Next, the eyeshadows. As you can see, the vibrancy has not faded whatsoever, so I am super, super impressed by that. The liquid lipstick still looks fantastic. It does look worn and like faded, but it has overall remained in place where I put it, so I am so impressed by that. I feel like it still looks pretty good. I just need to fix this recurring smile line right underneath my lips, and then good to go, you know? I mean, obviously, to look absolutely flawless, I would need to touch it up, like put a second coat of liquid lipstick, but for 12 hours, for it to even still be on my lips and still be as unfaded as it is right now, I'm impressed. Love this lipstick. 1000% recommend it. I absolutely love it. And yes, that's basically all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you found it helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, etc., etc., and I will see you in my next video.